of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
The clouds are building, the wind is starting to turn, but that's not stopping the birds from singing, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Sunset Safari. It's great to have you all here today. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today as we bounce about over some tree roots is Gert, and he's very good at keeping that camera still, as you could see. Now, remember, this is a live and interactive safari, or perhaps this is your first time watching us. We look forward to you. So you can actually ask us questions. You can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Now, it isn't just me out and about this afternoon. Of course, we've got my fellow friend and teammate. We've got Ali, and guess who's back? Back again. Craig is back. Tell a friend. Right, Craig is back from holiday, Batman, and I'm sure he's excited to be out in the bush. He's been in the city, just getting away. And it's quite nice to come back. It must be very quiet. But anyways, we're going to hopefully find all sorts of things. Ali is going to follow up on the hyena den first thing. It's actually quite cool. So maybe there'll be some action around the den. We're going to follow up at some watering holes, hopefully see some elephants. I've already spotted the odd elephant track around here. It seems like there's a bull about, and we're just approaching Treehouse Dam, so maybe there's going to be an elephant waiting for us at the water hole, almost like we got yesterday. Remember, we saw that elephant bull, but he'd already had a splash about. And I also don't have any brakes, so I'm not going to be braking very much today. We'll be using the gears and as well as the clutch to slow us down. We'll get that all fixed up tomorrow. So if I do roll, I apologize if I drive past the animals. We may have to do a bit of reversing and repositioning. So I'll park up on the dam wall now, but straight off the bat it doesn't look like there is anything around here. I don't even see our friend the hippopotamus. Right, let's go up. Actually, let's go down for a change. Let's go down here. Let's not also drive into the water, because that would be terrible. I see some ripples in the water. I think lots of insects about. And I think some of those bigger ripples are from the terrapins. Stop very quickly before I go all the way into the water's edge. But it's very pretty, as you can see. Not too much wind. It's starting to pick up. You can see not too many ripples on the water. Lovely reflection of the clouds in Treehouse Dam this afternoon. Here we go. Here comes the sun, making a break for it. It was quite dark and dingy at one point. But unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any birds around here at all. I can't see Mr. and Mrs. Blacksmith Lapwing, and I can't even see the three-banded plover that frequents this area. That's not a good start. Okay. Well, we'll go and try somewhere else then. Perhaps we'll go towards Twin Dams. That will be our next bet. We'll head back around there. We'll check some of these roads. We might check the Mulwati for birds, for elephants, maybe a spotted cat. But we'll start heading now towards Twin Dams. We'll check Gowrie Main to see if the royal cubs haven't maybe crossed back into the property. But while I go and search for something to show you, I'm going to send you across to Ali and Craig so they can also say good afternoon.
Hello everyone, welcome again to this afternoon. My name is Ali, and on camera with me today is Craig, aka also the Batman, who we are very happy to welcome back after his leave. Now, if you've got any questions or any comments, please feel free to send them using the hashtag Safari Live, and we would love to hear from you and see how you're feeling on this beautiful afternoon. I'm not too sure what my plan for this afternoon should be. I do think that likely it will include hyenas, or I really wanted to include hyenas a little bit later on. So I think for now we're just gonna go explore that famous mysterious new road, see what it'll have for us, and then we'll make our way to the hyenas a little bit later. I do think as well that the Mara, or friends in the Mara, won't be joining us today. They are working very hard trying to get everything right for the upcoming TV series and of course Earth Live, so they won't be with us this afternoon. So it's the girl power, the girl team again. Hope you guys don't mind. We certainly don't mind taking everyone on this adventure. So, not too sure what we should be looking for this afternoon. I think we've had a few days where everything's just been very mysterious and managed to grow wings and fly away in areas where we can't find them. Now, we spent pretty much 2 hours of this morning trying to find where the lions had gone off to, and I think unfortunately at some point somebody must have driven the tracks over them without realizing, because by the time that we got to all of the possible roads where they could have crossed, they were gone. And then there was another pair found in Buffelshoek, so I'm not too sure what happened there, but oh well. We'll keep our ears very ready for any lions or contact calls that might be happening a little bit later as the sun starts going down and as it starts cooling down, so maybe the lions will be a bit more active sometime during the night. We can only hope so. Right, no tracks around here, so let's see. We're heading into a road that seems to have been slightly popular with leopards because their tracks keep going up and down, or at least they were up to a few weeks ago. So let's go and check, have a look around, see if perhaps we can also find any new birds around there. Oh, and the mystery bird this morning that we had at the dam was definitely a juvenile nut-billed duck. Now, I can't believe I missed that. I think I need to blame the lack of caffeine this morning in my system, because I think once we managed to have a look properly, then it was definitely the one. I'm also going to blame the glare of the sun because I couldn't see it properly. But good to know that we have managed to jointly solve this mystery and find out what was actually there, because now I was getting all excited, ticking off new birds on my list, but perhaps not. But it's good. We're all learning together, which I think makes it a lot more interactive because we cannot possibly know everything and anything. Now, let's see. Nope. No tracks as yet. And also no little birds fluttering around. I don't see any little antelopes either. So I think maybe everyone is still having siesta time. And I don't know why in Venezuela and South America, where I'm from, this time of the day, where everything is so quiet and everyone's still enjoying the post lunch break, we just call it the time of the donkey. And it just refers to, I don't know why it's called that, but it just refers to this time where everyone's very lazy and not wanting to move around. Maybe it would be more appropriate as the time of the mule, I'm not sure. But yes, I think everyone's still pretty snoozy, but we will find them all. I am sure we will at some point come across more of these lovely creatures and animals that we enjoy. Karen, you're saying that I will find a cat today. Thank you for all your faith. I am hoping you will be right. If not me, then Taylor. Or anyone for that matter, but a cat that we can see. That would be the most wonderful thing, because obviously we just want to find cats so that we can enjoy them with everyone. Right, now I am hoping little Shadow will be here with her cub. I think I have been stung by the cuteness of a tiny fluffy leopard cub, and I would really like to see them again. And I actually have no idea where they've been in the last few days, so that'll be interesting to find out. I wonder. Alright. Termite mounds, we're coming for you. And for the leopard cub that's going to be sitting on top of one of them. Now I wonder where Tumba has been. I think Tumba would be a wonderful cat to see today. Perhaps somewhere around Gari Dam. That would be quite nice, because I'm not too sure where he's been. He's been quite absent since that last time we saw him, and we've seen Tandy a few times, and we know that she was acting a bit flirty with Tingana. We don't know for what purposes yet, but I think Tumba would be a nice one to see today, just to catch up, find out how he's doing, where he's been, has he eaten, has he not eaten, is he feeling okay? the general mother catch-up type of thing. And then he can go off for a few more days and then come back again and let us know that everything's still fine. Now, we're approaching the super shadow area where she goes up and down. Oh, and what have we here? Right, there was a bird just on the tree in front of us that looked like either like a green wood hoopoe or a scimitarbill, but I think it's gone to the back of the tree. It is. Oh, it's flown onto... Yeah. Look at you, Craig, you're super fast. Alright. Alright, guy. Time for you to move across and come onto this side so that we can have a look. I am leaning towards common scimitarbill just because we can't see the red of his beak. What is moving around here? Is it still flying around? Or perhaps are you a juvenile? Seems like the juveniles are out to get me this time around. There we go. Let's just have a quick look in the book and double check so that I don't embarrass myself once more. Common scimitarbill it is, yes. Exciting times. Although, the green wood hoopoe could be a... No, your beak is too long. I'm going with common scimitarbill. Yes! I think I haven't seen one of these guys on Djuma before, which is quite exciting. They are very similar to the green wood hoopoes, but if you manage to have a proper and close look around, it has that very distinctive black bill, and the green wood hoopoes have that very distinctive red one. And although the young ones for the wood hoopoes look somewhat similar, they are definitely not that one. Just let me show you exactly what I'm talking about, because maybe I'm just rambling on. So the one that we see more commonly is the green wood hoopoe, this one over here, which has got this very bright and long and recurved red bill. And now the one that we were looking at is this one, the common scimitarbill. Now the reason why I'm leaning definitely towards this one is just even the green wood hoopoe as a juvenile doesn't have this very sharply decurved bill as the book likes to put it. So you see it's just more of a straight one, and I think we all saw that it looked like a hook. Good. Seems like we have reached an agreement. Scimitarbill it is. I think now I can get over myself and my fear of misidentifying juveniles. Faith restored. Let's carry on. Let's see who else is around here. Well, that was a nice one to tick off the book. Oh, you're flying there. Lots of you now. Alright, seems like this scimitarbill had another one, and they are flying together now into the distance. But here's to the next little bird that we might be able to spot. And it would be quite amazing, and there's this one thing that I would love to see, and I've been looking for it. It's one of those things that is constantly at the back of my mind. How I would love to see tiny little pearl-spotted owlets in a hole in a tree, or, you know, in one of their nests. And I think I have tried every possible nest that I've seen, or anything that might look like there's a potential little owl living in there, but I haven't had such luck yet. So that is also one of the things that I need to see that are on the top of my list, and I've been looking for them for quite a long time. There's a park in another transfrontier park in between Botswana, Namibia and South Africa called the Kalahari Transfrontier Park, and it's more a desert park, and it's in the outskirts of the Kalahari Desert, as I said. So they've got this beautiful black, well, not black lions, but the black maned lions, and they're just stunning creatures. But they also have one of the highest densities of owls. So you just go through this park and there are so many owls there, and I was so sure last time I was there that I was gonna finally come right with these little ones, but it wasn't the time. I couldn't find them. I found every other possible owl, just not the ones in the nests. So Craig, maybe if your eyes are like super sharp, if you find a little owlet in a nest, like, I'll buy you whatever you want. Maybe not a house, because I can't afford that, but Crocodile, you're saying a bird challenge again. Well, it seems like the birds have been the friendliest ones of them all, so why not? Also, lots of little ones flying around, and now that the foliage on the trees is not as thick, then it's a lot easier to see them. So, why not? Why not? I think Taylor would also be quite happy to join in and see what else we can find. I do think she had the common Scimitarbill yesterday, and I wonder if it was the same one, because I heard her talking about this road, so it'll be interesting. I think there is a very good chance that we saw the same ones that she saw yesterday, or the day before yesterday. I can't remember now. The days really all just get jumbled up in my mind. Okay, but now we need another new bird coming along. No birds. Alright, tracks. Also no tracks here. No tracks here. Now this is the termite mound that Shadow Scub seems to properly enjoy, and every time we come, this is where she goes up, and she hides in there quite well, so maybe worth it having a look in there. Although I don't think there's any leopard cub. I think we should agree that this is quite empty. Going around. Nope. No leopard cub up there today. Alright. There are about another 50 mounds that we can look for, so we'll keep an eye on all of them. But while we keep an eye on all the termite mounds, let's go over to Taylor and find out what's in the Molawati.
No, sadly not. I found many empty promises in the Molawati. There were lots and lots of elephant tracks from that big herd that we saw this morning, and they did what I said they were going to do. They crossed, there's actually lots of footprints around here. They came all the way through onto Mamba, through the Molawati, dug in the riverbed, drank some water, but it seemed like they drank a few hours ago, and I suspect that they've crossed out south, unless they've maybe done a bit of a detour and are still heading through the bushes. So we're on Mamba Road. We're going to go towards Cheetah Cut Line, and then we'll go in towards Chitwa and see if we can't find them around there, because I did drive Gari Main and I saw 1 or 2 tracks of elephants crossing out of the property, but not the entire herd. So we'll have to scratch around. I can also see some of the maintenance team has been out and about, so I'll ask them if they've seen any elephants anywhere. Shall ask them now. Hello, how are you? Good. Did you book any in Ndlovu? And then Ndlovu this way? Okay. Nkoma. Thank you very much. Cheers. There you go. So they've been out cutting back a lot of these woody plants. So remember how I often talk about the bush encroaching species of trees around here? You get monkey oranges do it, some of the acacia species do it too, bush willow, silver cluster leaf. They can take over entire areas, and we do have to sort of implement certain conservation techniques. I think what they've been doing at the moment is cutting a whole lot of them down and then brush packing the areas, so that next time when we have lots of rain, the amount of grass that will be around will be even more than the previous year, which is quite good. And then it just thins out the vegetation just slightly, otherwise it gets too overpopulated. The more open areas we have, the better chances we do have of seeing the big herds of buffalo coming through too, and this is a good spot. It'll be nice to be able to see some buffalo. So they've said that the elephants were somewhere here. Now I don't know. We're going to scratch around because all of their tracks are going back this way, but there could be a couple of bulls still about in the bushes, so we shall give it a bash and see how it goes from there. Now remember, this is of course live and interactive, and we'd love to hear from you, so you can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter if you do have any questions, or perhaps any birds that you'd like to see, seeing as though Ali has issued me with a bird challenge. Not sure what birds we're going to have a look at just yet. We haven't put any on screen. I suppose I better play catch up. But you know me, always looking for those bird parties. And that's quite nice. So then you don't have to bird all the time. So just sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and get 5 or 6 different species of birds, and move on, look for something else, stop, and do the same thing. But that area that Ali is driving in now, it's my favorite spot to get some interesting birds in, so she might win this one today. Okay, well they pointed here, but this is where we did have the elephants. This is where we were this morning. Maybe they've been out the entire morning. We'll carry on a little bit. Right, I've got some hornbills here. See if they're going to stay put so that we can have a look at them. Oh, no, brakes! Stop! There we go. There's a red-billed hornbill just on the edge. Now, Bobby, you were wondering if the watering holes that the elephants create, would anything else and drink from it? You know what? If we can't do that one because it's quite camouflaged, there is one right here down on the silver cluster leaf. Just straight ahead. That's probably an easier one. So we're going to move away from the red-billed hornbill. We'll look at the yellow-billed hornbill instead. So the answer to that question is yes, Bobby. That is indeed correct. I witnessed it quite a bit in Zambia, as the elephants would come down towards the river systems, and they would graze up against the escarpment, and then they would come down and feed along all the anna trees, all their pods, and then they have to drink out of the Zambezi and the various little tributaries that run off of it, a little yellow-billed hornbill. And when they would dig water in the little tributaries, it was quite nice. You would see waterbuck, zebra, impala, baboons, vervet monkeys, all coming in afterwards once the elephants had moved off. It was really quite pretty because you get quite a few different species of animals coming together, and then they would drink from those holes. So yes, I haven't seen it so much here though, but maybe it's because there are so many different pans of water on the property within the Sabi sand. There's quite a few pumped areas, so they do have those places to go to, whereas in Zambia we didn't have any pumped watering holes. The animals purely relied on either elephants digging for water or going down to the Zambezi to drink. Now you can imagine the Zambezi river is quite dangerous for something like a zebra or an impala or a waterbuck because of the amount of crocodiles that live in that area, and monster crocs too, big ones like you see in Kenya, 5 meters in length, almost weighing in at a ton. So you wouldn't want to go and drink around there all the time, so you might end up following the elephants around. That's what I would have done, because there won't be any crocodiles on the dry riverbeds. Right, there's lots of elephant tracks all over this afternoon, so maybe a few more herds have actually moved onto the property. Now we just need to try and find them. So hopefully between Ali and I, we will be able to put some Ellies on screen today. Hopefully we'll get a nice up close and personal interaction with them. That's my favorite kind of experience to have with elephants, especially if there are any youngsters. Just want to check whose footprints we have here. Oh no, this morning's hyena footprints. We're on Cheetah Cut Line now, going back towards Gowrie, Main. We'll check around there as well. We know Thandi likes to move about during the middle of the day, and we'll go see if she hasn't been walking around. No one found her, so we're not actually sure where she's gone to. And then I think we might head further out and go towards Chitwa and drive down there. Right, we've got a bit of bumbling to do. Hopefully we're going to get lucky this afternoon. We had a bit of a quiet drive this morning, so we'll try our absolute best and we'll see if we can find some nice new birds. And I'm going to send you now back across to Ali, and I wonder which bird is going to be next on her list.
Maybe we should start taking bets at what bird we're gonna see next. I reckon it's going to be a starling or a drongo, just because they are normally around. Although I think maybe this road is a bit quiet. We are out of the new road and onto an old road, and perhaps the old road needs to be refreshed. Maybe we need to, I don't know, spike it up with a bit of like magic water and stuff so that it's got more birds than what the other one did. So I think I'm gonna slowly make my way towards the hyena den and see if they are there. Monique from London, you're wondering how many wagtail species we see here. Well, I've only seen the normal pied wagtail species, but let's have a look in the book and see how many are supposed to occur here. Like I said, I've only seen the pied wagtail, so sometimes it's a bit of a difference between what the book says, what I notice, and what actually happens. Alright, so yeah, we get, okay, so apparently the Cape wagtail could occur here, which is a bit of different to the African pied wagtail, which is the one that we see here very, very often. Now the Cape wagtail would not be that common around here, and then the rest of them down here, maybe the mountain wagtail. Maybe we could see this one if we were closer to some rocky areas, because, well, mountain wagtail, it prefers rocky hills and outcrops, so not too many of those around here, so this one, we don't really get it here. The Cape wagtail, also, I think you need a bit of a different habitat of the one that we get here, so haven't seen this one around. The pag wagtail is the one that we have seen here, and then, of course, this ones don't really occur in this area. Perhaps just the western yellow wagtail, but I have never ever seen it around here. So this is a migratory species as well. And these two, the citrine and the grey one, don't normally occur here. They just have been some sightings of them recorded around this area, but it's not a usual thing. So we can stick to the pie wagtail, which is quite a funny one. I love the way that they wag their tail, hence the name. It's always like they're forgetting something, or like they're running too fast and then they have to lift their tail to kind of brake. So I don't think we're going to see any wagtails on our way. Perhaps if we go to the dam in front of the lodge, we'll be able to see it there. They are quite common there. So maybe we should aim for wagtails at Gowrie Dam and see, perhaps we can, maybe we should actually go there, and perhaps we'll bump into that juvenile nut-billed duck once more and have another look. Now that the sun is a bit different, maybe we'll be able to just put old outs to rest. Maybe it shall be there. Now, at least some mongoose around here, no? We can hear some red's helmet shrike in the distance. Not red's, the white-crested helmet shrikes. Monique, you say you get the pied and the grey wagtails in London. Well, that's pretty cool. I wonder if you go to the parks and that's where you see them. Okay, I'm blinded by the sun, so I'm not going to look in that direction. I do actually remember the wagtails from the year that I lived in the UK, but just more towards the summertime, because in the winter time I was covered in way too many things. If you think I wear too many clothes on game drive here, you can just imagine how many I used to wear when I lived in the UK. I don't think my skin saw the sun or the outside world for about 6 months or so. This is beautiful. Let's just maybe have a view at the look at the view all the way there. Because what is quite cool is everything up to the horizon, or as far as the eye can see, that is all wildlife area. With the typical clouds that are coming into this time of the year. So this is very typical scenery of the African bush, especially if you've ever been to the Kruger Park around the Satara area. This is pretty much what it looks in the central part of the Kruger, whereas the north and the south look slightly different from here. The south has got a lot of rivers, and the north has got lots and lots of thick trees. This is a very nice view today. And then, of course, all the way into the distance, into where we can see it's past Buffalo's Hook, past Torchwood, and all the way into the Kruger National Park. I love those clouds. They look very pretty. Alright, thank you, clouds. Just stay where you are, or go away, but do not bring rain just yet. Alright, let's see what we get all the way up to there. I wonder where the birds have gone off to. Maybe they heard that you were too quick, Craig, that you could capture them too quickly now that you're back from leave. And they got scared and flew away. Well, let's see what tracks we have here. I think I'm gonna go around here. Make sure we cover all this section of the roads. Just wanna have a look here. Yeah? Sorry, Ginger, you want to know how many something are between us and the horizon? How many reserves? Well, pretty much none. The Sabi-san, or, well, if we have to be very technical, then probably there's Torchwood in between us, and then there's Nkoro, and I think Jacobin is slightly further there, and there's the Kruger National Park. But all of those reserves are inside of the Sabi-san Game Reserve, so we are technically as part of a greater area right next to the Kruger Park. There's nothing in between us and the Kruger in terms of fences of human barriers for the animals to move around. So even if we started walking, I think probably in an hour we would be stepping on the Kruger National Park, and if we had to drive in a straight line from here to Nkoro, I think that would be maybe 10-minute drive, then we would be there. Just stepping onto the world's biggest conservation area, pretty much. So not too far from us. And then if we were to carry on past the Kruger National Park, then we would get to the Limpopo National Park, which is a national park on the Mozambican side. There were 2 Steenbok, oh my goodness. We got such a fright. No, come back. You see, it's not that common to see Steenbok together at this time of the year, and I think it's because they are probably doing some of their courtship and mating rituals, and they were right next to the road. But I think they have gone off. You see, the grass is still long, even things that are right next to us we tend to miss, and if it wasn't because they started running, I think we would have just driven past them. So I wonder how many leopards I've actually driven past already. Not a good sign. Are these straps? So, yes, we would be in the Kruger very quickly, and if not, we would be in the Limpopo National Park, which is part of the Limpopo Transfrontier Park, which is Kruger, Limpopo in Mozambique, and the Gunner in Zimbabwe. I love it that when we start talking about one reserve, we can just go, and there's this one, and this one, and this one, and they're all together just for the greater good of the animals. I think that trend should catch up very soon in the world, so that everybody starts making parks in between borders. Because it seems like there's been quite a big shift in the conservation science and conservation practitioners and researchers in the world. I think up to a few years ago, everyone was very focused in conservation by species. If I protect the keystone species, something like an elephant that's very big, then therefore I will be protecting all of the animals that have some sort of relationship, whether it be direct or indirect, with this particular animal in their environment. But just 1 second, standing by. Yeah. Okay, copy. I'm gonna head to the pan, so I'll just stick around that area just in case. Alright, so yes, as I was saying, there's been quite a shift in the conservation, or the way conservation has been approached, and there's a big call now for doing habitat conservation, because the biggest threat for a lot of the species that are out there in the world is the lack of habitat, because we keep taking natural spaces from them, either to do mining or to get petrol or to establish human settlements. So now there's been a big push to try and create habitats that the animals can use. Right, I'm rambling on a bit too much about conservation, so let's go over to Taylor, who's at Chitwa Dam, and it is a very beautiful spot.
Ali, there's no such thing as rambling on too much about conservation. Now, we're not quite at Chitwa Dam, we're on the road just slightly east to it. There's still some guests who have only just arrived, So they're still probably having high tea, settling in, and once they're out on safari, hopefully they do go on safari, then we'll be able to visit the dam a bit later. But that was an enormous waterbuck. He was beautiful. Not hanging around for very long though. Maybe we'll catch up with him a bit later. I can see a crocodile from here. Can you see him? Now, like I said, we're very far away, but we'll have a quick sneak peek at what we could potentially see a little bit later. And straight away, look at that big crocodile. Now, that's one of our resident crocs of Chitwa. And the fish eagles were just confirming it too. They gave out a call. So it's either Vlad or Boris. I still don't know how to tell the difference between the two. There's a grey-headed bushshrike also giving off its territorial call. That sounds like the frog in the distance. But how beautiful is that? Aren't you all excited to head down to Chitwa Dam a bit later? The fish eagles seem excited to have us here. Right, let's go down into this drainage line. Let's have a look for some birds and see if we can. Birds. Hang on. No. Let's go to first gear. No. I can't stop. There we go, into reverse. Let's go all the way back now. I thought I saw some tracks. I just wanted to triple check, make sure they're not hyena tracks. I don't actually know what the tracks are. I think it was antelope, maybe dragging its foot. Anyways, let's carry on. Let's look for the birdies. See who we've got today. Seen some squirrel. We're still going to look for some mongoose. We'll definitely try and find some mongoose and see if we can't and try and sit with them. We might actually go back to that mound. Early, if there's no guess, and we'll go around.
Alright, hello guys. Seems like Taylor's fighting off all the possible gremlins around Chitwa Dam, but my faith is in her. We are slowly making our way towards Gowrie Dam, and I think we're going to be spending the afternoon roughly just around the lodges, because one of the other guys just updated me that they're staying at the lodge, and sorry, I want to just do this, and apparently they've had some kudu alarming and some francolins going crazy, and it's this whole drainage system that's quite horrible, and it was where Taylor had Mbula. So I just want to hang around here, see if perhaps we see anything. There are lots of little things here, and who knows, maybe there's also a spotted cat lurking somewhere around there. Now it could be Mbula, could be Tingana, and like we had Hosanna around here the other day, so who knows who's actually been up and about. But we also have a feeling that there's a sneaky leopard that keeps coming around, a young one, a young female. I think it's become pretty much everyone's agreement, that keeps moving around, and perhaps it's the same one that made the kill that Taylor found on top of the tree. So I think it's definitely worth it just sticking around here and seeing where this leads us. Hopefully we'll be able to pick up on some alarm calls, because there are no tracks on the road, but who knows. Any day is as good as any to start exploring and seeing where this can take us. Hello, quarantine. Looking pretty today. It is amazing what a few clouds do to the scenery. Looks a lot prettier than just that big blue sky. James, you're wondering which trees and bushes get hit the hardest by the winter. Well, maybe quarantine is not the best example, but we can see that big marula over there. Marulas get hit pretty hard during the winter time, and they tend to lose all of their leaves, and they start looking quite sad. Then also we have different species of acacia. Well, I can't see anyone here, but we have big trees like the nut thorns. Also, they start losing all of their leaves and they become a lot thinner, and they also look quite sad like the marulas with no trees. I think in general a lot of things are affected. I would say maybe the ones that don't seem to be that affected are the trees that are closer to water spots, to drainage lines and everything else. But things like figs and jackalberries and what's the name of this other tree, and scotias, weeping boar beans, they seem to be a little bit more winter resistant, but I think it's also going to do a lot with the fact that they occur in areas that are a bit wetter, so they will be able to reach the underground water a lot easier than some of the other trees and bushes. But in general, I think everything takes a bit of a hit during the winter time. Perhaps it's not as dramatic as in other areas where all the trees will lose their leaves and become very sad all throughout. And I think this is actually a good spot to try and see this. I want to see if maybe I can jump up here. Alright, can you just show all the way there? I think maybe that is a good indication of how the trees are being hit by the winter time. Lots of trees around, some leaves in there, but not too many. So you see in the distance, just before the shade, there we go, a lot of them are marulas. Let me just grab my binoculars and try to figure out. Oh, I've got them here. Silly me. So let me see what we're looking at. Lots of marulas and knobthorns have lost their leaves all in between that area and that very green patch that we see there. It's a lot of tambuatis and I think maybe a few jackalberries in between, but they get lucky because they are in a drainage line, so I'm sure they're able to get a few more water droplets than the rest of the trees around here. So I think maybe those are the ones that I can think of right now. And then, well, of course, all the grasses. They lose all of their seeds and their leaves and everything else. No flowers. It's just not worth it to have so many so many leaves out there if the food production is going to be diminishing because of the different sunlight conditions and the lack of water. So it's a good way of hibernating, I would say. Buffaloes, yes. The dark mysteries of Djuma. I don't think I've seen a buffalo in maybe 3 weeks. We're gonna get to Gowrie Dam in a little bit, but they are all the way up down there. So just bear with me while we get there. Lucky I've got brakes because I wouldn't really want to go all the way down there and just pretty much brake at the dam itself and go for a submarine safari. With the buffalo, I don't think they would be too happy. Whoop. Alrighty, buffalo, you stay there. Don't you go anywhere. We're almost there. Seems like everyone's very excited to see buffalo. Yay! Well, I'm also very excited. Normally they're not my favorite creatures, but we just haven't seen any in such a long time that it's good that they're around. And we had some tracks this morning going into the Molowathi, so I think maybe that's where these buffalo have been during the day. And now that it's been nice and hot, then they came down for their mud bath. Alright, it's a bit of a tricky downhill and uphill here, but we shall get to you, buffaloes. How many of you are there? Almost there. My goodness, and so many of them. We have five buffalo. I think this is the most that I've seen at Djuma altogether. I've never seen so many buffalo here. That's a pretty scene. Alright, guys. Hello. And there's a lady amongst you. Interesting. Now, the lady is the one to the far right. And I say it's the lady because her horns are shaped a little bit differently. They are the boss, or that part in between the two is not as big and as prominent as the one of the other males. So you are really the lucky lady amongst all the boys, aren't you? Now you see the difference in the horn. This is a very big male. The boss is a lot bigger and thicker. James, you're saying we have the buffalo now, we need the lions. I fully agree with you. That's the first thing that crossed into my mind when we found out that there were buffalo around. He was like, yes, there are 5 buffaloes and kahumas, Birminghams, where are you? This is probably not the best thing for me to say, but I would really just like to see the lions. Hello, you guys are having such a wonderful afternoon here. And like we said, it's been very hot this afternoon, although I am already wearing a jersey, but that's just me. And they have been putting on some mud on their body. these 4 older males, and I think that one to the left, the one that we were looking at earlier, I reckon that's probably the oldest one, just by judging at the lack of hair on a lot of his skin parts. See, it's almost like the middle part of him has got no hair, and also look at all those scars on his forehead and just how worn down. Are you going to sneeze? Oh, it definitely looked like it was going to. And just how worn down the horns are. So another reason why these big bulls come into the mud is not only to cool themselves down and feel a little bit better and perhaps get some of that revitalizing mud, is to use it as sunblock, to use it as a protection for their skin. As they grow older, they go a bit bolder, and well, they need to get some sort of wig to protect themselves from the sun. So mud is the best sunblock out here for a lot of the creatures. And then of course we've got the 2 very confused Hadida ibis that just know no boundaries and are hanging out very closely to one of the most dangerous animals to ever approach on foot. But because they don't do anything to the buffalo and the buffalo don't do anything to them, then they don't want such close vicinity. I find Hadidas some of the most interesting birds. They just really have no fear. I think they're kind of the honey badger of the bush. Not because they're aggressive, but because they just do their own thing. Don't really care. Very placid time for ruminating. I think you guys have chosen a good spot. Now, it would be quite interesting if the lions came around and we could watch it all from the dam cam sometime during the night. Hey guys, are you going to go back down? I think you should. Right, we've got also 1, 2, 3, 4 oxpeckers on top of this male. Are you feeling charming? Interesting. I was wondering why this lone female is here with them. It does happen every now and again that females will associate with just bachelor groups for a little while, but I think perhaps there's a little bit more to the story than that. Perhaps they have all been attracted to her. How could she not be super sexy with that chewing that she's got going? Justin, you're wondering if a buffalo's jaw ever gets tired. That's a very good question. I would imagine it does, because if you start doing that motion for a while and you just do it, eventually it'll start hurting. So that's why they only ruminate for a couple of hours at a time, and then once they're done ruminating, then they either start eating, which they can do without doing that funny motion, or just moving around or going back into the water, to the dam. Oh, somebody's having fun. Seems like Taylor has managed to find one of the funniest birds out there, so let's go over to her and see what color his bill is.
It seems as though the only birds we're able to find today are yellow-billed hornbills. Perhaps we'll do a competition just with us, and we'll see how many yellow-billed hornbills we can put on camera today. It is running away, though, at the thought of it. It must be running away with a full crop, because just a moment ago it was pecking at some harvested termites. It had been eating them for a few minutes. It must have been very hungry. And now its partner is just around the corner, so I think it's sort of heading up that way, just keeping an eye on her. Make sure she's not getting out of hand. There we go. Looks like it has found some more insects over there. It's a good spot. There's lots and lots of elephant dung scattered all over this road, and we know that termites are responsible for decomposing a lot of animal feces, as well as all of the various types of grasses. So it only makes sense to come and feed around here, but it didn't stick around for too long, so we'll continue. I think I can see a lilac-breasted roller just up ahead. We'll have a look there. See if we can have a quick view of it. Stop! Just up over there. There we go. No, I can't see it. Oh, there it is. It's camouflage behind the other tree. Beautiful lilac-breasted roller. Now, James, I believe that you would like to see an African harrier hawk. Maybe we'll have a chance around the dam. I'll keep an eye out for a gymnogene. It would be very nice to actually see one. I haven't seen one for quite some time. Well, the last time I saw one was such a brief sighting of it flying about, we couldn't actually put it on camera. But we'll definitely try our absolute best. I'm quite excited to see the African fish eagles down at the dam. I wouldn't mind watching that green-backed heron that Ali saw the other day. And I don't think I've ever seen cutthroat finch before. Another one to look out for that Ali got. A really good one. Right, let's continue. There's also quite a few white-crowned shrikes around here. I can hear them chattering about, but none staying out in the open for long enough for us to get a good look at. So I just thought we'd come and move around here. What have I just seen? I don't know. I'm just quickly checking to make sure that there isn't any leopard tracks up this way. Now, I was supposed to show you something earlier, but I completely forgot, so I'm going to show you now. I tried to rescue a spider today, and unfortunately, I don't know if the spider is going to live, because it keeps looking like it's going to die, so I'm just going to very gently... Actually, maybe I can show you in the bowl, because it's a white background, we might actually... Yes, that's working perfectly. What I want to show you is the contrast. Now, this is I apologize, my hands are filthy as well from wiping the car and doing all sorts of wonderful things. I'm going to quickly play a quiz. So who can tell me what spider this is? Hashtag Safari Live with your guesses, but you've got to be very, very quick on the mark, and then we'll start talking about it. So take some screenshots, share them. If you're uncertain, there is a very easy way to identify the spider. Megan, do you know what spider it is? Alice? Connor? Anybody in Final Control can guess too? Ew, sorry. I just don't want to touch... I'm going to quickly... Ah! It's a venomous spider, so I'm not going to let it walk on me. So I'm just going to let it walk on the edge of that container there. Sorry, I panicked for a moment. I don't want to get bitten by this one. Let me see if I can turn the bowl around slightly, so we can get its front end. Smile for the camera, spider. There we go, that's a bit better. How great is this? Megan, any answers coming through yet either? Bree, you've said a sand spider, like S-A-N-D, Megan. Don't come here. No, unfortunately close, not a sand spider. You see, it doesn't look very well. I found it in the shower, and I took it out as soon as I could. It didn't get wet, it was on the shower curtain, in fact. So I don't know what could have caused it. It almost looks like it is going to die, so I'm not too hopeful about the survival of this. It looks like it's struggling to use its back legs slightly. Come, spider. I'm going to release you. See, it's not looking too well, which is a bit sad. But that's what happens, unfortunately, when spiders and things... Although it's waking up now. No. That's definitely not going to fall on my legs. Oh, man, I've lost it. Let me remove myself from the car. Sorry, Megan, I'm just going to take my earpiece out very quickly. I have to find the spider. I can't drive with it in the car. Make sure it's not on me now. Okay, let me plug my earpiece back in. What a disaster! Oh, I can see it. Bundy Birder, you said a violin spider? No, not a violin spider. It's not as venomous as a violin spider. Very hot, you've said a termite spider. No, come here, please don't go in there. It isn't. We'll have one more. I need to fetch a piece of grass to try and coax it out. Ah, there we go. There's the right answer I've been looking for. James, you've said a sack spider. Aha, that's exactly what this is. And you'll know why I don't want to get bitten by it. Let me put it back up there again, and it's bold. Let me climb back in now, and I'm going to release it in a moment. Actually, looks like maybe it's going to come back alive again. It looks quite active all of a sudden. But there it is in there. So it is indeed a sack spider. I talk often about these spiders because these are the ones that dislike my brother. I'm so sorry. I just don't want to be bitten by it. These are the ones my brother talks about on a regular basis, or I talk about. My brother's been bitten by them many times. I've been bitten by them a few times. I think they actually cause some of the the most common bites in sort of a household in South Africa. Very easy to identify. That black mandible, you see that? You see look how dark the front of their head is, and then that cream color. And that's how you know it is a sac spider. And it's not a nice spider to have. It's got a cytotoxin. And I'm not surprised about where I found it in the shower on the curtain, because that's typically where they'll make their webs. Tula Ann, you've said that this is a yucky spider. It is indeed a yucky spider. They're not too bad. They're not ones to be scared of, but you don't want to be bitten by them, because a cytotoxin, that's the type of venom that it has, it causes necrosis. So Tula Ann, what necrosis means is that it causes rotting of the skin. So it basically kills all of your flesh, and you can be left with a very big hole in your leg or your arm or wherever it's bitten you. So that's why you don't want to be bitten by one of these. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to let it out. But you find them everywhere in houses. They make a web that's quite flat, and like I said, I'm not surprised that I saw it on the shower curtain. You'll often find them actually on curtains or sort of against the corners of walls where it will make its web. So just one that you shouldn't touch. Not as venomous as the violin or the brown button spider or black button spider, any of those, but one to just keep an eye out for. So let me put it out. Now I'm going to unplug very quickly. I need to try and put it somewhere it's not going to get eaten. So I'm actually going to put it at the base of this tree. Go away, flies. I'm trying to save a spider. Wish I could feed those flies to the spider. That would be nice, because they're upsetting me today. Okay, now I need to climb back in again. Right, spider rescue done and dusted. Good luck. You know what? Maybe it was slightly dehydrated, and that would maybe explain the way that it was staggering about. But hopefully it'll be able to recover. Maybe that's why I came inside, to get a drink. But I'm going to send you back across to Ali. She's still at Vuyatela Dam looking at birds. So we'll go back to her and Craig.
Well, we are looking at one of the most common birds, the blacksmith lapwing, but they all seem to have gone mad all of a sudden. They just have been flying and circling around the water for quite a while. Look at the amazing shot! Oh, that is so cool. I've never seen them do this before. This is incredible. They're coming back! This has been going on for like a few minutes now. And I'm wondering, at first I thought maybe it was a territorial dispute of sorts. Because they seem to, we always have at least a pair at a waterhole, but I wonder where the rest of them came from, because I've never seen all of them together at the waterhole. And I think there are maybe about 10-15 of them that just keep flying around, perhaps even a bit more. I think just the one. Well, how is that? That was amazing! So it seems we have one last standing blacksmith that, I don't know if he was trying to chase everybody else off or just trying to prove a point, but this is the only one that stayed out of the flock of about 15 that we just saw flying all around the dam for a few minutes at a time. So I am not too sure why they were doing that. I just think that it was pretty incredible to have seen it. So, Craig, I think that was very good from your side. Do your arms hurt? We've got a few more coming around. Justin, you're saying that it amazes you how the birds don't bump into each other when doing that. I think you and every single person in the scientific world, I know that everyone tries to figure out, especially when we have those massive flocks of quillias and just birds flying all throughout and starlings, and nobody quite understands how they don't bump into each other. I don't know, I think maybe they have some sort of superpowers, because it's not possible to do that. I would bump like into everyone if I had. I would probably be the best the best, the worst bird out there. Now, I can't really see too much because of the sun, but I think oh my god, they're coming back. Okay, maybe not. No, they are coming back, some of them. Interesting. I wonder if perhaps there's anything about... I want to quickly check the book, see if perhaps there's anything around here that might just give us a bit of an indication as to why they are behaving this way. I have never seen plovers do this or start flying around in the manner that they have now, which is very interesting. No. There's pretty much not anything around them, other than they can be found in flux when they are not breeding. That has been so interesting to watch. Sometimes I wonder if the animals just do these things for fun, if they just all of a sudden decided that it would be a cool game and that's why they've all started doing it, and there's no real reason in terms of territory to do. That is wonderful. All of them have stopped moving around. Very noisy little things you are. Wow. Karen, you say that it looks like they are eating bugs. I couldn't see all that much. Maybe I know there are a lot of little things that are hatching now. It seems like maybe some mayflies or dragonflies or little insects, but not really. I couldn't pick up anything else, but perhaps you guys had a bit of a better view. I've got the glare of the sun in front of me and on pretty much the monitor, so I couldn't see all that well, but it could be an explanation as to what they were doing. Although it didn't seem that they were quite so much onto that. Very interesting, though. I think that was an amazing sighting. I think that was very, very interesting. Alright. Can you shine on that... Shine. As if you were holding a spotlight on that buffalo. The one at the back. No, he's just hiding. He had a bit of a bulge on the side, which is normally an indication that they perhaps have a disease like TB, and it's just on his back left leg, but now he's just moved around. So in this particular area, a lot of our buffalo, or a lot of the buffalo that we get, are carriers of TB, of bovine tuberculosis, and it gets transmitted very quickly because all they just need is pretty much to breathe onto one another, which they do often, and then they'll catch the disease. And then when lions and other creatures come and eat them, then especially when they eat their inner organs like the lungs, which is the area where the bacteria for TB lives in, then that's how lions contract this disease. So perhaps maybe our Nkahumas shouldn't really eat this buffalo. They need to look for other ones. I think I've decided you guys are not good enough. Honey, you're wondering if buffalo have good memories. Well, I think up to an extent they do. They know where to go out of experience and memory, where to go during the winter season, which areas to avoid potentially, which areas to go to if they're looking for cover or shelter or anything else. But I don't think they have a long-lasting memory like maybe elephants do. I don't know if there have been any studies done on buffalo memory. I would imagine that they have, but as far as I know, they don't have the best reputation for being able to hold that much of information throughout their lives as the elephants do. Now I've got those two naughty oxpeckers moving up and down that buffalo's body, not really too bothered with life. We've got just two red-billed oxpeckers, and at one point, because of the way that the sun was shining, I thought that we could also have gotten a yellow-billed oxpecker, which would have been quite amazing. But no. We get the normal friendly ones. Peeking through. And the buffalo not bothered. I think this is probably the equivalent of a spa day for the boys. Come into the mud, get a bit of sunblock, and then have the oxpeckers come and eat all the nasty parasites that are living on them. So maybe their version of a body scrub. Always look like commanders, these oxpeckers. Always up to no good. Why are you laying down and sitting down now? Almost looks like a little chicken on top of its eggs. Going down. Oh my goodness! It's an infestation of oxpeckers! Now let's check your bills, all of you. So red-billed, yellow-billed oxpeckers are known to prefer creatures like buffalo that have a little bit less longer hair, or their hair is not as long. So when you see buffalo, it's always good to just double check, especially if you come across very big herds of buffalo, just to double check for the yellow-billed oxpeckers, which look pretty much exactly like this one. They just have a little bit of yellow on their bill. And up to I think the 1969, they were believed to be extinct completely in this area, and a lot of it is because of cattle dipping, because they would normally go into the cattle farms, but because the farmers look after their cattle and they dip them in all of these pesticides and products to prevent them from getting ticks and all these other parasites, then oxpeckers started to die. And they, I think only then, I want to say in the 80s, but now I'm confusing it. Only a few decades ago did we start seeing yellow-billed oxpeckers again in this general area and in the Kruger National Park. Oh my goodness. They've all come onto the same one. I think maybe these oxpeckers have been hanging on top of some of the other mammals that are around here, and now they have found that there's a bigger prize. Bobby, you're wondering if this buffalo have multiple stomachs like cattle do. Well, they don't actually, not either do cows, they don't have 4 stomachs. They have more like 4 chambers or 4 different organs that they use for their digestion. So in that regard, yes, they're very similar to buffalo. They have a 4-stage digestive system. So what they're doing now and what we're seeing them eat everything again and just re-chewing it and regurgitating is because the first stomach, if you want to call it that way, it's the rumen, and then that's the first filter to then carrying on through the rest of the digestive system so that they can process everything and extract all the nutrients that they've eaten. So in quite broader terms, the buffalo and the other ruminants, they have a digestive system that is led firstly by the enzymes breaking down whatever it is that the animals have eaten, and then that food goes through a process of fermentation. Whereas for some of the other animals, like for example the zebras and the rhinos and the elephants, they don't have the rumen, and first they go through a fermentation process, or what they've eaten goes through a fermentation process, and then do their enzymes kick in and just are able to extract the rest of the nutrients. So sometimes what we've just seen the buffalo eating, or all of this food that they're regurgitating, because it's such an effective system and they're able to extract all the nutrients from what they eat, what goes in might only come out 4 or 5 days down the line. So it's quite a process. Now I see all these little oxpeckers on the dung. No guys, you're eating the wrong thing. I don't know if they're actually eating it, but perhaps there are little ticks there that they're looking for. Naughty oxpeckers, you've been up to no good today, haven't you? Well, it seems like our buffalo are a bit indecisive as to where to go. So while we figure this out, let's go over to Taylor, who's doing the dam turn today. Oh, okay, no, then I got it very wrong. She's still at Chitwa Dam, so let's go over to her and see who else has come around to the dam for a drink.
Not much just yet. We just had an entire flock of Egyptian geese dive off of the dam wall and into the water below, and it's a very pretty scene. We've watched a lot of these Egyptian geese grow up now. They once were goslings. They are no longer goslings. Most of them actually look like they're fully grown now. But all quite happily swimming with each other. It looks like they're about to do a synchronized swimming act for us, don't you think? Right, who's next? Who's going to flap their feathers first, or who's going to go down and underneath the water? That was a graceful turn. Look at that. Very nice. Well done. I'll give you an 8 out of 10 because I feel as though you could still work on it. Bob in front over there, he's not doing a very good job, as you can see. Right now, all in a straight line. If only they would all listen to me. Wouldn't that be a great show? All come together. You know, safety in numbers, it's very important. So even on the water, when you're swimming around, it's good to sort of stick together and keep a nice, tight little huddle. But I don't think that they're going to stay in the water for very long. They're enjoying the afternoon light, and they're making their way straight back to the dam wall. Might see them climb back out again. Little 3-banded plover also just at the bottom of your screen. So we should get an opportunity to be able to do quite a bit of birding around the dam today. Isn't that lovely? Hello. Hello, little one. We were missing you at Treehouse Dam. But there we go. We finally got our 3-banded plover. Very, very pretty. Striking colours. With the black and the white, the grey, and then, of course, that red beak. And off it goes. Right, let's start making our way around. We'll start going very slowly. I know that there's lots of gremlins around here. The hippos aren't right here. There's a couple down at the island. And then the rest of them are very far away. I'm so sorry, Egyptian geese. Let me go past you and you can come back. But you do need more practice. Like they can understand me. I just pretend that the animals can understand me. Ooh, okay. So it seems as though Ali's having a fantastic day, spending it at Vuyatela Dam. We're going to head all the way around. Our crocodile's down over there. We'll try and get a better view at him. And let's go back across to Ali, and the wildebeest have now decided to join her.
Well, it seems like this is the place to be once more for the great wildebeest migration of Vuyatela Dam. We've got the wildebeest and the buffalo, but we are currently just hiding behind a very big nupthorn so that we are able to look at them without getting blinded by the sun. So we've got no view of the buffalo for the time being, but let's focus on the migration that's going on here. I haven't seen this wildebeest this morning, and I don't think Taylor did either, so maybe they've just been hanging out in the thickets, and now that it's hot and they're coming down, because wildebeest are one of the few antelope species, or one of the fewer animals that do need to drink water on a daily basis, so they're never found too far away from the water. So I think now that they have found this very safe spot, nothing to really worry about, not too many things in the water that are going to eat them, then it seems like it's become a hot spot. I'm pretty sure this is where everyone's been going out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. We had some more moving a bit behind the tree. So I'm sure this has got to be the same herd that we saw earlier on. And of course the grass around here is a lot greener. Lots of water that they can enjoy. Are you guys also going to go down into the mud? So you see we've got the youngster now as well, the same as the adults were doing yesterday, just trying to dig and loosen the mud in the ground over there, and likely he's going to go and start rolling around it. And the same with the buffalo, serves a dual purpose, just to cool themselves down, but also to try and put some of that mud on top of their skin to get rid of some of those parasites that may live on them. No? Are you saying no? I do know that you've got ticks. Using the horns to loosen the mud a little bit over there. Quite a task, isn't it? To use your head to dig. Suppose you're wondering if wildebeest ever have twin calves. They can, but it's a rare event as far as I know, and they mostly have just one very precocial calf that is able to stand and run with the herd just a few minutes, a few hours after being born. You youngster playing around. Somebody's gonna come and tell you off, very likely. Monique from London, you say that you love gnu's and you're wondering if there are any young ones. Well, this one that we're looking at, this is the youngest one that there is in this group, or at least from what I can see, they're all roughly the same age. So I would say they're probably about 9-10 months old, the ones that we're looking at. Seems to be mostly adults hanging around here in the herd. And moving onto the shade now. It is very hot on that side. Seems like Taylor has managed to find a very big toothed animal that I'm sure would be very happy to eat one of this wildebeest. So let's go over to her and find out how Vlad is doing.
Ellie, it does have big teeth, doesn't it? And we're actually staring at them right now. I don't know if it's Vlad or Boris. Have we come to a conclusion how to tell the difference between the two? Because I think it's particularly difficult. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but quite a mighty croc. The only thing that I've noticed is it looks like it's missing the tip of its tail if we go along the length of its body. You see that? See, it's got beautiful, beautiful, and then just the end. See, it looks like it's maybe missing a tiny little piece there. But I'm not 100% certain. Just something doesn't look right. But look how powerful that tail is. Full of muscle. You use it to be able to power through the waters. Now, they can actually move quite quickly through the water. I think it's about 25 miles per hour, which is incredible. It's a lot quicker than you and I could swim. I just think that they have the most amazing skin, the most beautiful pattern. Now, you can see why a lot of people do use the leather for making various things, bags, shoes. It's not particularly the nicest thing to do to a crocodile. They should be out here living their life in the wild, but very, very tough skin. It must be difficult being a crocodile out here. I always think that if you're living in the water, you should have good protection. But look at that, so prehistoric too. Amazing. Big claws as well on the bottom of their toes. How big do you think this crocodile is, Gert?
I'd say 4 meters, no, 3.
Yeah, also, I'm getting Gert's opinion because he hasn't been to the dam too often, and we don't think he's particularly big. He's about 3 meters or so. So these are not the giants that you can see in Kenya. I haven't actually seen any particularly big crocodiles. Now, there's something else I want to draw your attention away to. Look at that. Ah! Thank you, Liz. You've said that Vlad is the one with the missing tip to his tail. That's fantastic. I don't know why I never noticed that before. So there we go. That's Vlad. There is a pied kingfisher flying around. It's just going over here. It's going to fly over the crocodile now, actually. But it was hovering so beautifully just a moment ago. Oh, my goodness. Great camera work. Look at that. Now it's going to sit up top there. And it's a nice bird to see, seen as though we were planning on doing a little bit of birding. Very striking with their black and white plumage, the pied kingfisher. And again, I mention this quite often, one of the 2 true hoverers that we have here in southern Africa, the other one being the black-shouldered kite, which is quite funny that they've both got similar colored feathers as well. But it's amazing how, and hopefully we'll be able to see it, because when they hover, they stay dead still in the sky. They don't use the wind at all. They can use the wind, but they don't need to. And they sort of backpedal with their wings. But we'll see. It's looking down at the water, so it's obviously wanting to catch something. Are you going to catch something for us? We've seen with Ali and Brent that there's plenty of barbel, or catfish, in Chitwa Dam. Now, a barbel or a catfish of that size that we have seen will be way too big for a kingfisher, even though it has got a long spear-like beak. It wouldn't be able to kill a fish of that size, and also wouldn't be able to carry it out of the water. So it's going to be going for smaller things, also frogs and tadpoles. And I'm sure if there's the odd little tilapia around here or a smaller little barbel, it would go after something like that hovers about. But when you are constantly backpedaling, you're definitely using valuable resources, so you will need to make sure that you eat frequently so you can hunt. More often. Are you going to dive down? Please dive down into the water for us. I would very much appreciate it, and I know everybody watching would love it if you would do that too. No, you're just going to sit there. That's very rude, Kingfisher. A couple of... Oh! Beard, you said that that's number 55 on your list. Congratulations. So just down below them, there's some Egyptian geese. That's actually the Egyptian geese family that we normally see. Now you can see the youngsters, the face whistling ducks. But hashtag Safari Live, if you can remember how many Egyptian geese and how many little ones there were at one point. We seem to only have 4 now. Well, 4 is better than none. We might find that they lose a few more before they even make it towards adulthood either. There's lots of raptors around here, so a martial eagle would swoop in and snatch up an Egyptian goose quite happily. Even a tawny eagle, we see them flying about here. Oh, there's a pipit. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. Maybe. I've just spotted it. It's just behind us. I think you should get it with the camera. I'm going to see. So if you just go to the right of this tree, where are you now? I'm going to look from that elephant down. Okay, go up and a little bit to the... If you go straight up, we can't really go any more to the left here. No, I think the little pipit that I'm looking at is actually just out of our range. It's going behind the tree now, which is a bit of a pity. There's some birds shouting up ahead. You won't be able to see them, but I'm trying to see if I can see them. No, I can't see what those are. It looks like grey-headed sparrows. Gina and Karen, you said that there were 11 Egyptian geese goslings. Okay, well, like I said, it's better than none. Oh, our crocodile has gone into the water now. That was very sneaky, Vlad. Look at him. He literally, very, very, very quietly, I didn't even hear a splash, decided that he's had enough of the sound of my voice. He's going to go elsewhere now. But look at that. Like a log in the water. Do you remember that day that we were convinced that there was a crocodile in the water? It was actually just a log that was moving about, and I remember Rebecca shouting in my ear, zoom in, it's there, we can see it moving, and we were all convinced for about 10 minutes that it was a crocodile, and we thought it was going to catch an impala. It wasn't. It was just the log. It was quite funny. Further around the corner, Batman and Miss Ellie.
Kudu looking at all of the buffalo away. It's just peering there through the side, and only 2 buffalo remain here. The 2 bulls. Seems like the lady has gone off with the other remaining ones. That is very funny that the kudu is so wary about the buffalo. You can definitely see it, but it's very high and alert. So is it. The other female behind it, well, not so much, but also just gazing in this direction. Perhaps because the other one was so scared at one point. Maybe they're just also not used to seeing vehicles in the spot that we're in, and that's why she's a bit wary. Also, the oxpeckers, I think they have found the oasis. So many mammals coming down here that they can just jump from one to the next and maybe have a bit of different flavored ticks. I wonder if maybe ticks stay differently because of the different animal blood that they suck. That would be an interesting study to do. The flavor of ticks. I'm sure oxpeckers would love to contribute and just let us know exactly what they feel is the best flavored tick. Perhaps a kudu for the time being? They're definitely chasing after the kudu. Come back, give us the ticks. But now, just as two buffalo remain down here at the dam, and slowly but surely everyone's started moving off. So I think the buffaloes have carried on again onto the Molowoti, perhaps retiring onto that area for a bit of safety. Perhaps that's where they'll spend the night tonight. And the one bull, the one that's lying down, the older guy, he is also looking quite funny with all those oxpeckers on top of him. At one point, all of the oxpeckers that we saw flying away and chasing that kudu were actually on top of the horns of this boy. And it was looking very funny. He wasn't even shaking his head. He was quite happy to have all those oxpeckers in there. Even on his nose. That's very tolerant. You guys are very noisy things. Oh, hi Bacon, you're saying that he must have lots of ticks. Yes, all of these animals have got a fair amount of ticks, and that's why the oxpeckers are so crucial to their health, just to help them remove all those nasty parasites that might be living everywhere around them. But I think the ones on the horn, I think maybe they're just looking for smaller parasites, or perhaps even just getting at the horns itself and the keratin, because I don't think they've got any ticks attached there, and it's almost like they're using the horns as well to clean their beaks. At least the top ones are. I don't see how a tick would be able to attach itself, unless the middle part, that sometimes it's, especially in the females, because the boss is not that prominent, has a bit more of hair, so perhaps that's when the oxpeckers manage to land on them. Oh, I think maybe this oxpeckers like the buffalo flavored ticks a little bit more, because they've come back from the kudu that was running away. That is very tolerant. I mean, they're all on his face and on his head. And not bothered whatsoever. Interesting. I'm sure this old bull has lived through many oxpeckers trying to get everywhere, and he's just used to it. And if you think about it, pretty much from the moment that they're born, they've got them all over their body. Taylor has managed to find one of the most beautiful eagles that live around the dam, so let's go over to her and have a look.
We found more than just a beautiful eagle. I actually have never driven around the corner here at Chitwa Dam before. It is lovely back here. We're going to find some great birds, I suspect. And the first great bird that we're going to see is an African fish eagle. Isn't that lovely? Nice with the clouds in the background too. They are such majestic birds, resembling the bald eagle in America. Not quite the same though. They look fairly similar though, with their plumage. Beautiful birds. I'm actually not sure. I wonder if the bald eagle is larger than the fish eagle. Or if it goes swooping down. Catch a fish! I've never seen you catch a fish! Put your feet in the water and grab something. So disappointing. Maybe it's just going to go down and have a drink. Now it's just an elephant and hippo wire to keep those particular animals out and out of the lodges. And this poor eagle is just trying to have a drink, and look at it. You see that blacksmith lapwing giving it a hard time. Now it might not necessarily make contact with that fish eagle, but by bopping over the top of its head like that, normally it's enough to annoy the eagle that it will actually fly away. Now, a fish eagle's not going to go out and try and snatch up a bird. That's not their preferred diet. They will scavenge off of carcasses close by to the rivers and dams. However, they are specialist fisher birds, pescivores. but not fishing right now. I got so excited for a moment. I really thought maybe today's my day. I'm going to see a fish eagle catch something out of the water, but it's not. It's just having a drink, but it's really pretty. You don't also get to see that. And of course, lots and lots of hippo around here. They aren't around their normal island that they normally hang around at. They're all the way in the corner. It's a nice spot here. It's quite shallow. There's a bit of shade, especially on a hot day like today. They'll need to try and keep themselves cool, and there isn't actually a lot of shade down that way, but up here it's perfect for them. So all the little ones are here. It's quite a big pod actually. I think I counted about 10 of them around here. There's a blacksmith lapwing calling. That's what you could hear. And they're the two little hippos. Isn't that light gorgeous? The way that it's just catching those youngsters' eyes. There we go, and 3 hippos in a row. Very pretty. It is beautiful. Thank you, Megan. I like this corner. I think this is where I'm going to come and park Rusty from now on, or Wendy, depending on which car that I'm driving. It's definitely around here. Oh, who's blowing bubbles? Let's not turn Chitwa Dam into a jacuzzi, thank you very much. Try to make it look as natural as possible. There's an older hippo. There's also a massive bull in here. Actually, when we first approached the bull, he was not very impressed with us. He sort of lifted his entire body out of the water just to make himself look nice and big and intimidating. It didn't work though, because we're still sitting here. He settled down though. Let's see if these little ones are going to come out and stand on the island. Oh, they're so precious. Just trying to figure out how old they must be now. They must be not quite 6 months, maybe just less than that. Because I remember Brent found them on one of the TV shows that we had in February. So they must be about 5 months old, 4 or 5 months old now. They're very sweet. And they need lots of attention from each other. It's nice that they live in family groups, so they do have siblings to